Hey, it's Chris Ellis. I'm doing Redwood JS, and what we've been working on was a grocery app, which last night we've got it showing up with this grocery list, and these are all the things with G in it, and right now it sends an alert that your favorite category is eggs, but we're going to connect that up with some GraphQL, do a mutation where we then categorize this whiskey, hopefully not as eggs. I think spirits is in there. That's more like it. So your favorite category is spirits. So check some of my other videos. There's also some on YouTube. Here's where I was using the downshift by Kent C. Dodds to come up with this drop down. So you get Twitch up in case anybody says hello, and if you join the room, please say hello. Look forward to chatting with somebody. So I've got the default set to G. Let's clear that out. So we don't want an initial input value, and we don't want it to initially be open. So other thing is I don't really want it to search on the first item, because for instance like that, you could go through that, but you see it goes down below. This is an absolutely positioned element, so it can go off the viewport, which I want, because there's not a really great way of doing drop downs in modals, but I want maybe 2 characters before it does the search. So let's look over at this. Actually, I guess we could just limit the result count. See if 5 does it. Doesn't like that. You know what? Damn, this thing keeps jumping all over the place. Sorry. I believe this gets set up here. Not doing anything. That's the number of items. That's not a limit on those items. So there's a bunch of other props on this. I can't remember if I said it, but this is called downshift. So worked on by the ever popular Kent C. Jobs, Kent C. Jobs, and also Ryan Florence, a lot of other people's. Show them all. This was a group effort. Okay, let's go back up to the top. Advance, initial selected item. Alright, I don't see a specific prop listed. Why does it keep scrolling so much? Sorry. Oh, there's an extraneous space. Sorry. Hello, if you're watching. So here's where they're filtering it. All right, so I think what we can do is we can take this index. Let's get this showing like that. All right, this should show the index. So that's showing the index. So if let's const limit is equal to 5. Well, it's going to be 5. And return limit or index is less than limit. We'll return that. Otherwise, we'll return null. See if that works. So this is a lot more reasonable. Well, you know what? And there's an input value. So you see that before, if I didn't have that and input value, if I had searched but then deleted it, it left items up. All right, just another little tweak. I didn't like the look of this. This is the item name. I want to put some focus on it. Class name equal to you know what I need to do? I need to share my stream, don't I? All right, so review. We've got these items. We're going to classify them: spirits, eggs, cheese, canned soup, and clicking out. Ooh, what happens when that happens? Oh yeah, so clicking out, it's hitting two handlers. It's hitting this modal on click event, but it's also dropping, because I think it drops focus. I don't know how downshift works with that, but because it drops focus of this input, it will pull out. So, just thought of a terrible joke there. Let's keep going. So we've got our list. We need to create some mutations. Here is where I'm going to suck. That's pretty much the interface that I want. So we need a mutation on. So let's actually read the documents, Chris. Let's look at the documents for downshift. So I don't know if I had said earlier that it was Kent C. Dodd's downshift. That was a lie. There were a lot of people that helped build this, and that's who I heard talk about it. So definitely a open source project. Let's look at how popular. 2 million downloads a month. Pretty awesome. Okay, so on change. Well, wait, we've got our on-change handler. I wonder what happens with keyboard navigation with this. So I just hit enter and that works. If I hit tab, it does not complete it. Okay, we can leave it with default functionality now. So where we'll need to put the oh, do we need this anymore? How is that not causing an error? Don't know, but let's delete it and see if it's still happy. Seems happy to me. Okay. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. So we're up here at the on change. We can leave that right now. Do we have... This is becoming a monster file. I think this was, when I did this before, I think this is similar to the size monsterness of my previous file. Alright, so we've already got use mutation in here. Let's copy this. And let's get everything going over to the server. Actually, let's commit UI categorizing. All right, so hello. Okay, just checking my audio. I've gotten this far before without it being on. It's pretty embarrassing. So we'll call this categorize item, and we'll make a note. This categorizes both canonical items and user items. So let's just camel case the hell out of this. Okay, what input does it need if you're categorizing an item? Well, you literally only need the category ID. Now, in this, I've got the name, and I use that to display, but I really only need the category ID. Let's see. I'm going to also make a note of where this mutation will be, because sometimes these aren't clearly one class or another, or one model or another changes. So I need to know where to find them. So I could probably purify it and separate them out and everything, but I'm not going to. Let's just face it. I'm just not going to do it. There's trade-offs. So categorize item. Let's see. This is going to be in the items item and items.sdl.js and items service. So let's open the items SDL. So this delete let's open the user items SDL as well. So this delete user item is right here, and that helps it know which types it's expecting coming from it. All right, I'm having to think about this because this is actually a user item. So this is going to be in the user items. Y'all just going to have to deal with it. So let's close items. So all we need is the category ID. So let's create an input type. And then we need to create the mutation. So it'd be categorize item input and it'll return an ID. So now this needs to, okay, we're doing the server part. Go up to user items, and that needs to map on to a service up here. In here. So this is going to be the name of the service. Our whole goal right now is to just get the server being hit. And currently we've got it sending the user item ID. But it really just needs the category. No, it doesn't. It needs both. So it needs the user item ID and then the category ID. Both of which are ints. Oh geez. You don't start messing with other. I don't know why my files aren't why it's not showing me from a drop down there. All right, so we've got everything going up from the schema definition list to our language file to the services. Now we need this stuff going down. So we're requiring it. It's saying it's required here. We're passing the input information over or through. Now we need to get a little bit of this going. So these are defined outside. These are, let's see, how do I say this? These are defined further up in scope on it. I'm not actually using that anymore, am I? Selected user item. But we'll set this mutation. So we're going to be using this categorize item. And we'll call it categorize item. And I think we still want to refetch those queries, or that query. We sort of need it to reflect the change. So just like this is called here, we should call this function now. We need to send up the user item ID. Which is user item selected user item dot ID. And the other thing we need to send up is the category ID. Which is selected category dot ID. All right. Let's see if we did it. You, the incredible void who are watching. Spirits. Hello from user items. There we go. So we've got that going to the server now. So I'm going to say I connected mutation through to server. And the server in this case is a serverless function. Because that's the way Redwood rolls. Alright, so now we're on the server. We should do some of these same things. So let's come up with a list of what we want to do. Require auth. Fetch the item. The user item, and the category. And we need to Damn, what else do we need to do? Guess just update them. Actually, do we even need to fetch them? Actually, I think all we need to fetch is the category to get the category name, because we're not trusting the client on that. And then we need to update the canonical item, and then update the user item. So that makes sense. So require auth is easy. You just type require auth. It's already imported into this package. Let's fetch the category. So const category is equal to await db category find one where ID is the category ID. And so there, we fetched it right there. Okay, something I'm going to drop off of the user item cell is still doing that alert. And alerts are all cool. They're cool and all. But if you notice, it doesn't actually send the mutation until the alert's cleared. So it's a blocking action. Right, so now we're kind of out of the SDL. So we've got the category. Let's update the canonical item first. So const item actually, we do need to fetch the item because we need to get the item ID. Yeah, the canonical item ID. So const user item This is what it would look like on mobile. So there's the user item. Actually, I think I misspoke. We don't need the category. We need the item ID. So we've got the user item ID, but not the item ID. Guess we could pass that from the client, but it's not the safest thing. So, okay. I'm just doing the happy path on this one. There's definitely some authorization type issues here. But we're not going to worry about those right now. Let's have something to work with. So to update the updated item, let's start with the canonical item. DB item update. Where same thing, ID is equal to well, this is going to be the user item item ID. So that's why we had to search that. And let's look at the Prisma update. That's tiny. So I'm on the Level Up Tutorials Discord, and I was complaining about me using categorizing items in a modal. So the drop down is kind of hard to do. And someone's looks like Matt has published, Matt Jennings has published a React modal stack, which I'm going to check out later. I'll go ahead and link it so anybody watching this can take a look as well. So I'll look at that later, Matt. So let's update. And let's take a pause and look at our Prisma configuration. So we're updating item. It's not Prisma. So item has this relation to category. So we need to doing a nested write. So that's 1-to-1. We're doing more complicated than that. So we're not going to create a new PAL. We're going to be connecting. So let's try this first, because I think this is what we're doing. Updating an existing item by connecting it to an existing. This is 1-to-1. Does that matter? Create a new user record with 2 post records. So that's creating multiple. Create a new post record and connect it to an existing user. Okay, we're not doing that. Update an existing user record by creating a new post. Not doing that. Okay, this is 2 existing. That's sort of what we're doing. So we literally just need to do this connect. Let's set that off to the side, and obviously it's gonna move. Data. So we're updating item. Does it always flow down? Is this post record ever first? I think that this actually comes down from category. So where the user item actually, we've got the category ID. Category, so we're going to update the category, and we're going to take the items on the category and connect, and it's actually just a single one, so we don't need to do an array of objects, where the ID on the items is equal to the user item dot item ID. So I'm hesitant to do more than one change So the user item is not going to be corrected. But let's run through that, and we'll see if we then delete the user item. Okay, so let's delete that. Now if I add whiskey again, whiskey's in spirits. So that worked. So on the one-to-many relationship, it looks like what you need to do is you need to update it from V1. That's the order you need to update it. So now the canonical item is fixed. We need to just update the updated user item. DB user item update. The where ID is equal to user item ID. That's going to be data. And the pieces of data are going to be the category name and the category ID. So the category name is going to be category name, and the category ID is going to be category. There's probably a much cleaner way to do this, but ain't nobody got time for that. I've actually got a call in about 20 to 30 minutes, so I really don't have time for that. So there's probably a much cleaner way to achieve this, but we've got a way of doing it. So let's make sure that this updates. So, and then we need to return an ID updated user item .id. I don't think we actually do anything with it, but we did specify that it requires a return in the SDL. So we'll find these in the frozen food section, and ice bags and frozen foods. Find the organic chocolate stout in the beer cooler, and we'll find the Torch IPA in the beer cooler. And holy crap, we did it. So we now can create new items. So American IPA, and then we can click on it. Actually, I'll show you something. So no, we didn't mean to put that on there, but now American IPA shows up. Still shows up uncategorized because we never categorized it. How are you gonna know where it is at the grocery store? But now we've got it, so we can see those. Now here's an interesting side effect. We've got ice bag already categorized, right? What's something that we've miscategorized? Bacon. Bacon is not in spices and baking. That's in meat, clearly. What happens if I hit that? Is bacon in meat now? Bacon's in meat and seafood now. So because we duplicated this functionality in both tables, it gets this on-click handler. Southern Comfort, that's in spirits, obviously. Limes, that's in fruit and veg. Um, so now we've got it all on here. You know what we don't need to show though? If we don't have any uncategorized items, we don't need to show it. So that's something we can do. And I want to clear out these console logs, or at least comment them out. But I find that really exciting. Like, that was one of the hardest parts for me to figure out the first time I created this. I was also working out the layers that I needed at the time, but and I'm talking about first time I did this was like 6 or 7 years ago. It wasn't yesterday. So let's see, update user item and canonical item category. So at least they have to be signed in to do it. Okay, so now I said that I didn't like when uncategorized was empty. So let's look at where that's being called. Well, here's the table. So let's say user items dot length is greater than 0. Otherwise, we'll return null. Why are you complaining? Is this in TypeScript? It's really not happy about that, is it? All right, how do I want to think about this? So we can handle it here where we're if uncategorized items it's not an annotation. Am I doing this wrong? We don't have bananas. Okay, so now it shows up. And then it goes away when it's not there. So that's a lot of progress. It would be nice if these fruit and veg were beside each other, so that they were in sections. That's the next goal. Don't really have time to complete that because I don't. But that would be handled. We'll start getting set up so we can do that. That should be handled in user items table. And what we could do is we could do it just on the client, since it's getting all of these items. I want to break out an array of the categories. So const of only the categories that are in the list. User items map user item. And what are we going to return? Should we use a reducer for it? See if I can use a reducer. Reduce. Let's build an object. And let's see, JS reduce array of keys. Trying to be too smart with it. Get unique. Damn. Why is it complaining? All right, so we've got an array of the 9. Items, and they're on there multiple times, so is category not ID not returned? Why is that complaining? Did I? Category ID. Yep. Tell you what, spelling's tripping me up today. We're gonna use a set here. Sets are sort of like arrays, but they have unique you can never have a duplicate in these. And it's allowing it. Reducer get unique values from an array. Well, I'm lost because this should be creating a unique set of categories. Like, maybe it works on strings, but not on objects. Unique. Objects from array. And my time is basically up. This is what I was looking for with reduce. Reduce is probably the fastest of these because it only has to go through the array once. That's for some reason I'm just feeling like I want to use reduce on this. So, I'll be doing this next time. Probably later today. But I got a call, so I will catch you later.